Hello everyone, welcome back to the Forge. Now, as many of you know that watched part 2 of the Messer project, we ended up with a broken sword to finish it out. Had some cracks develop along the edge. When I tested them a bit, snapped right off. But since then, I have reforged our blade and reground it, and it is now ready for heat treat. So let's pick up where we left off in the last video with the broken sword and get this one heat treated and move on to getting that guard worked on. Let's get after it. Alright, here's the guard design I'm going to use for the Messer sword. I've got a piece of 1-inch rebar in the forge right now heating up. The overall length of this guard is 11.5 inches, with the portion right here where the crossover of the sword will go through, and the tang is 1 3/4 inches, so the blade width is 1 3/4 inches. This area right here will be 2 inches. I'll do the clamshell at a later point, it'll be welded to it. But that's the guard style we're going to go for. I will probably forge it just pretty standard square and then grind in these facet areas here. So yeah, so I got that heating up, so let's get back out there, see if it's at the temperature, and get to moving some metal. there's our guard portion rough forged. It's kind of ugly right now, but after I take it to the grinder and clean it up and everything, it'll look a whole lot better. I'm going to mill the slot for the tang into it. It's a lot bigger right now than the end the guard will be. I did that on purpose because it's better to have too much than to not have enough and get close to the end and realize that it doesn't quite have the look that I want it to have. So I can't wait to get it on the grinder and get to clean it up, but for now we're going to let this cool down and we'll pick up once it's cooled off. Alright, now that we got the slot cut in our guard here, now I need to trim this off to the proper length. So I'm going to take this piece of wire here and lay it on my drawing and bend it to fit the curve so I can get the idea of exactly how much material I'm going to need. Looks like about like that. So now that I know I have enough for there, I'll straighten this back out. We'll mark it. We'll mark it here. So that's the length. All right. So now I just need to go and cut these off, and then we can get to grinding in the detail on this. Cover it in blue Dicam first. You can also cover it with a Sharpie or just anything so your scribe lines show up. And then I'll come in and start removing material, get it all shaped the way that I want it. Then I'll run it through the grits, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, you can see on here, let me pick it up here, we can see it a little better. Yeah, you can see where I've scribed the lines to grind the guard. And all of them are in place and ready to go. And I will save you the boredom of watching me grind this and having to fool around with a time lapse. I'm just going to go ahead and get it ground, and when we get back, we'll see what it looks like. Alright, there's our guard rough ground. And I will now take it and hand sand it, get it all cleaned up to the grits I want, and then we will look into getting our clamshell stuck on here. Alright, ever onward. Alright, now that we got our guard portion all roughed in and ready for the final hand sanding and everything in preparation of welding on the clamshell, we're going to turn our attention to the clamshell. And for that, I think I'm going to use this piece of lawnmower blade right here. It's right at 1/8 of an inch thick, more than enough material in here to work with. And so we'll need to get it sketched out on this and get it cut out, file in the lines here on the clamshell, and get ready to weld this sucker up. So let's get to work. Alright, I got our clamshell cleaned up here, pretty much where I want it to be. I'm going to toss it in the forge, and we're going to bend it to shape, and then we'll weld it onto the guard. There's our clamshell for the most part. I will bring the guard out and I'll take a look at it alongside before I weld it in case I need to grind any more of this away to make it look more proportional. But turning out good so far. We're getting there. Alright, this is where we're at with our guard. The welds took real well. I've still got some minimal cleanup in here, cleaning those welds up. I'm going to go ahead and throw this back in the forge, and we're going to bend these quillings here just a little bit. There'll be some final adjustment when we actually get our handle material put on and everything. But let's get this tossed in there and get an idea of what it's going to look like when it's finished up. Alright, there's where we are so far. Really happy with the way this one's turning out. Hate to say that the other one breaking was a good thing, but this is turning out to be a lot prettier sword than the other one. I still got to come in here on the next video. We'll get in there and we will grind into that guard there and inset that blade down into it. And by that point in time, we'll have our handle material and get the handle fixed up and finish our bevels off, and we should have a finished sword. With that being said, I appreciate you for joining me. Appreciate you for watching the failures, watching the success, coming along for the ride as I learn and as we all learn together. With that being said, if you would hit that subscribe button down below, ring the notification bell to be notified when there's content as it posts. Looking forward to part 4, and we'll catch you on the next one. You have a good one, and bye-bye.